Hey, what's going on, family? This is Michael Cabradilla right here in San Diego, California. Welcome back, or welcome, depending on if you've been watching us or not. So we have been reading through this book right here, 100 Simple Secrets of Happy People. And it says here what scientists have learned and how you can use it. We've been reading through every single chapter in this book. The chapters are less than 2 pages typically, so we read through it, share some insight, maybe pose a question or two, and just continue a dialogue on how to become happier people together as a community, right? So we're on chapter 57, and this says, be flexible. When we want to be with friends and family, often we want it to be on our terms. If everybody approaches relationships this way, no one will be happy. Instead of thinking only about what you want, think about what the others want too, and consider why it is important to spend time together. Accept that there are always differences between people, and that if you're flexible, you will enjoy your time with them more, and you'll feel closer to them. 3 sisters, Donna, Marie, and April, all want to hold the family's Christmas celebration at their house. For years, they took turns rotating to all 3 houses every 3 years. Then Donna had a child and wanted to have the family over to her house every year. She wanted her son to be able to wake up and see the tree and spend the whole day at home. Marie didn't think it was fair. She wanted things done the same as they had always been done. Marie became uncomfortable at Donna's house, and Donna became uncomfortable at Marie's. April was left in the uncomfortable position of not being able to do anything except sacrifice her own turn. Ultimately, the conflict existed because the sisters wanted to be together as a family. However, their desire to be together on their own terms kept them from being peaceful together. It is far better to be flexible enough to sacrifice what's personally ideal to have something acceptable than to sacrifice the acceptable to have nothing. Nearly all individuals report significant changes in their lives and in their values over the course of time. Those who viewed these changes as inevitable and remained open to the possibility that changes would be positive were 35% more likely to be satisfied with their lives than those who do not. Wow, so what do you think of that? What does that make you think of? Is there a scenario or a situation or people that you think of when you hear that? One of the things that I think of is years ago, I was listening to a sermon at church, and I believe it was Pastor Miles here locally in San Diego who said something like, the way to never be disappointed is to not expect anything, right? Like something like that, right? And I remember thinking about that. I think about that every now and then because we have certain expectations, right? As people, we have expectations of our spouse, expectations in relationships, expectations with our children, with our family, with people who are around us, with business partners even. And if we let go of those particular expectations, obviously there are certain times where we hold people to a certain standard, right? I would imagine that's a little bit different when we're talking about possibly ethics, right? But expectations and being flexible with outcomes of certain situations can probably really help. So like, let's say if you go on vacation and you have certain expectations, it's going to go this way, it's going to go that way, nothing's going to go wrong. Typically, sometimes things just don't go as planned. Sometimes things go as planned, but maybe not, as good as we would like it to go, or as well as we would like it to go. Sometimes it exceeds our expectations, right? But the times where we get disappointed, the times where there are friction, the times where there's conflict, it's typically because we expect things to be a certain way from our vantage point, but we don't take a step back sometimes to put ourselves in another person's situation, another person's perspective, and see how they are accepting, receiving, or seeing how the situation is going possibly, right? Is there a person probably in our lives that we need to reach out to and maybe just apologize to because all along maybe we've been looking at the situation from our vantage point, but not really understanding it from theirs. Makes me think of that as well. But remember, the title of this particular chapter is Be Flexible. What does that mean to you? And what do you think of when you listen and have heard what we just read right now? Feel free to go and put some things in the comments. We'd love to hear from you, continue the discussion, and feel free to like the post, but also subscribe as well. All right, take care. God bless you.